Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with the Prime Minister. We had a picture taken a little while ago, and it was so nice, I thought I'd present it to you on stage. And here's the picture. I wish I was as handsome as him, but I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Remember that day. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm delighted to welcome Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru to the White House for the first time. And Prime Minister, it's an honor to have you with us, a great honor. Japan is a great country. Thank you very much. Japan is strong and proud. It's a nation that is home to one of the great civilizations in the history of the world. For nearly 80 years, the American-Japanese people have enjoyed a friendship like few others. We've had a great friendship across the vast ocean, and we found ourselves united by bonds of history, commerce, culture, mutual admiration, and great respect. After our meeting today, I'm confident that the cherished alliances between our two countries and others also will continue to flourish long and into the future. The military cooperation between the United States and Japan is one of our closest security partnerships, and it's one of the closest we have anywhere in the world. Our service members work together every day to defend our common interests. Japan is committed to double its defense spending by 2027 compared to my first term. They've invested a lot of money because of my first term. We worked on that very hard with Shinzo. You know, the great Shinzo Abe, and we look forward to seeing even more so. Shinzo and I worked very, very long and hard, and those numbers are very reflective after my first term. And now they're going up very substantially based on our conversations today. In addition to being vital for our shared security, Japan is one of the top purchasers of U.S. military exports and equipment. And I'm pleased to say that this week my administration approved nearly $1 billion in foreign military sales to Tokyo. The United States is totally committed to the security of Japan. We will extend the full strength of American deterrence capabilities in defense of our friend and ally, 100%. In the years to come, the Prime Minister and I will be working closely together to maintain peace and security, and I also say peace through strength, and all over the Indo-Pacific. And to that end, we also remain committed to the effort I began in my first term to ensure safety and stability on the Korean Peninsula. Prime Minister Ishiba and I spoke long and hard about a vital economic relationship between our two countries and the continuance of that relationship. The United States and Japan trade over $300 billion in goods and services each year. Japan has invested nearly $800 billion, and that's going to go up very, very substantially in the coming months, more than any other country. And they're going to have some competition. We have a lot of people coming in and investing in the United States. I think the feeling throughout the world has never been stronger about this country. As a result of our victory in 2024, the presidential election, the Japanese investment and technology giant SoftBank announced plans to invest between $100 and $200 billion. And we have many other companies investing that number, higher than that number, some a little bit less, but we have trillions of dollars of investment pouring into our country now that you didn't have just a short while ago. Today, our teams discussed how our two nations can do even more to stay on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, along with the quantum computing, semiconductors, and other critical technologies. And they're coming out. The problem with technology, that kind, it's obsolete in about 2 days, so we have to start all over again. Doesn't last long. We agreed to cooperate even more closely to combat the Chinese economic aggression, which is quite aggressive. I'm also pleased to announce that Japan will soon begin importing historic new shipments of clean American liquefied natural gas in record numbers. It'll be record numbers. With our Secretary of the Interior, we were talking, I think Doug is here. Hello, Doug. Please stand up, Doug. Doug Burgum, everybody. We're talking about the pipeline in Alaska, which is the closest point of major oil and gas to Japan by far, less than half the distance of any other location. We're talking about a joint venture of some type between Japan and us, having to do with Alaska oil and gas, and that's very exciting. They're very excited about it, so are we. As we deepen our economic relationship, I made clear that the United States will be conducting trade with all countries based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. Chronic trade deficits not only undermine our economy, they really do, and we're going to get rid of the trade. We have a trade deficit with Japan of over $100 billion, but we're going to work that out, and I think very quickly, frankly. We can do it just on oil and gas. We can work it out, so we intend to do it very quickly. We both understand that. And as America welcomes new foreign investment, we also want to ensure that companies build their products and factories here in America, not simply buy the assets that we have. And Japan is going to be opening up auto plants. New auto plants are being built currently as we speak. They've just been started. Toyota is one, and Nissan's going to be doing something very exciting about U.S. Steel. They'll be looking at an investment rather than a purchase. We didn't like the idea. U.S. Steel is a very important company to us. It was the greatest company in the world for 15 years, many years ago, 80 years ago. And we didn't want to see that leave. And it wouldn't actually leave, but the concept, psychologically not good. So they've agreed to invest heavily in U.S. Steel as opposed to own it. And that sounds very exciting. And we're going to meet with Nissan next week, the head of Nissan, very great company. And they'll work out the details. I'll help. I'll be there to mediate and arbitrate. And I had the privilege of working closely with the great Prime Minister, as you know, and you knew him very well, Shinzo Abe, the longest-serving Prime Minister in Japan's history. Likewise, I expect that this Prime Minister is going to be a great one. I really believe that he's going to be a great one. I've gotten to know him for not long, but I can see what they have. He's got the qualities of greatness. He's going to do a fantastic job for Japan and for the Japanese people. And I'd like now to invite the Prime Minister to say a few words, and then we'll take some questions. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you. Thank you very much.
トランプ大統領閣下、本日、就任から間を置かずに、こうしてご招待をいただきました。そして温かいおもてなしをいただきましたことに、心から厚く御礼を申し上げます。誠にありがとうございます。日本の安全外交にとりまして、最も大切なアメリカ合衆国の舵取りを行っておられるトランプ大統領と、このように早い機会にお目にかかり、そして互いへの理解を深め、日米両国が目指すべき姿について認識をすり合わせたいと、そのような思いで本日、ワシントンを訪問をさせていただきました。日米両国の国益を相乗的に高め、インド太平洋地域に、そして平和と繁栄をもたらすために、私たちがなすべきことは何であるかと。その答えは、自由で開かれたインド太平洋の実現に向けた力強く揺るぎない日米同盟のさらなる強化であると確信をいたしておるところでございます。トランプ大統領との間では、日米同盟の抑止力、対処力をともに高め、日米が直面する地域の戦略的課題に緊密に連携して向き合っていくことを確認をいたしました。私からは、同盟国として責任を米国と共有し、役割を果たす用意があることをお伝えをいたしました。また、大統領に対して、日本の防衛力の抜本的強化に向けた取り組みへの決意を改めて表明をいたし、日本防衛に対するアメリカの揺るぎないコミットメントを大統領閣下と確認をしたところでございます。 日米同盟安全保障条約第5条、これが尖閣に適用されることも改めて確認をいたしました。インド太平洋は世界の人口の半数と GDP の約6割を占め、日本とアメリカ、そして世界の成長と活力の原動力となっておるところでございます。大統領との間では、自由で開かれたインド太平洋の実現に向け、日米両国が共に手を携えて、幅広い分野でさらなる努力を行っていくことでも一致をいたしました。その中でクアッド、そして韓国やフィリピンとの3か国協力など、地域の重層的な同志国ネットワークの協力を一層積み上げていくことでも一致をしたところでございます。成長と繁栄をもたらすための日米協力につきましても議論をいたしました。経済安全保障面を含みます経済協力は、同盟強化の観点からも極めて重要なものであります。日本は経済面におきましても、アメリカにとって最も緊密なパートナーであります。5年連続で最大の対米投資国でもございます。トランプ大統領の就任を受け、日本企業の対米投資の機運は一層高まっております。本日、私から対米投資額を1兆ドルという、いまだかつてない規模まで引き上げたいと、そのために共に取り組みたいということをお伝えをいたしました。その上で、トランプ大統領との間で、両国におけるビジネス環境を整備して、投資、雇用を拡大していくこと、お互いに産業を強化するとともに、AI や先端半導体などの技術分野における開発で世界をリードする。また、成長するインド太平洋の活力を取り込む取り組みを力強く推進していくことを通じて、両国のパートナーシップをさらに高い次元に引き上げていくとの認識で一致をいたしました。相互に利益のある形で、日本への LNG 輸出増加も含め、両国間でエネルギー安全保障の強化に向けて協力していくことも確認をいたしました。為替につきましては、第1位トランプ政権時と同様に、専門家である日米の財務大臣の間で、緊密な議論を継続させていくことといたします。インド太平洋地域が直面する課題についても率直に議論を行い、私から自由で開かれたインド太平洋を守り抜くためには、力や威圧による一方的な現状変更を許さない、東シナ海、南シナ海におけるそのようないかなる試みにも反対するという決意を確認をしたところでございます。同時に台湾海峡の平和と安定の重要性も改めて確認をいたしました。北朝鮮につきましては、日米、そして世界にとっての深刻な脅威となっております、核・ミサイル開発への対処の必要性、そして北朝鮮の完全な非核化に向け、日米が連携して取り組んでいくことを確認をいたしました。拉致被害者とそのご家族がご高齢となられる中、私の強い切迫感と決意を大統領に直接お伝えし、拉致問題の即時解決に向けた大統領の力強い指示を改めていただいたところであります。トランプ大統領とは初めて対面でお会いをしたのでありますが、胸襟を開き、率直に意見を交わすことができましたこと、そして内容も充実した非常に有意義な会談になったと、このように思っておるところでございます。日米関係にとっての新たな船出となりました本日の会談の成果として、私たちは日米首脳共同声明を発出いたします。これは今後の日米協力のいわば羅針盤となる文書であります。この成果をもとに、私は敬愛してやまないトランプ大統領とともに、日米関係の新たな黄金時代を築いてまいりたいと考えております。次回はぜひ大統領閣下を 日本でお迎えできますことを心待ちにいたしております。Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions, please? Peter?
President Trump, I have two on Doge. Elon Musk said today, I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. What does the First Lady think about that?
Oh, I think she'll be okay with it somehow.
So, Democratic lawmakers are really upset that Doge engineers have access to these Treasury payment systems. The Senate detailed them for a letter to Susan Wiles. They're saying that these systems are used to disperse trillions of dollars each year and contain everyday Americans' personal information like social security numbers, home addresses, bank accounts. Why does Doge need all of that?
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at what has just taken place with respect to some of the investments that have been made on another agency that people have been talking about for years, but nobody did anything about it, it's absolutely obscene, dangerous, bad, very costly. I mean, virtually every investment made is a con job. There's nothing of value to anybody unless there's a kickback scheme going on, which is possible. And we're going to be doing more and more of that. We're going to be looking at Department of Education. We're going to be looking at even our military. We're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of money, Peter, being spent on things that bear no relationship to anything and have no value. We're talking about trillions of dollars. It will be, in the end, trillions of dollars being absolutely wasted and perhaps illegally. I would say certainly in many cases illegally, but perhaps illegally overall. And I'm very proud of the job that this group of young people, generally young people, but very smart people, they're doing. They're doing it at my insistence. It would be a lot easier not to do it, but we have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption. We found tremendous corruption.
You mentioned the Department of Education. What did you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland, China does very well in education. And then you look at us. We spend much more money than they do per pupil or any other way. But we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year, Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last. So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top. And the rest will come along. They'll have to come along competitively. And by the way, we'll be spending a lot less money. And we'll have great education.
As part of this Doge talks about the cutting effort, one of the Doge engineers was fired for some inappropriate posts. The vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes, red dress.
Thank you so much, President. Just how strong do you want Japan's military to be? And do you specifically hope that their increased military spending will deter China and North Korea? What did you talk about that today?
Well, I want our military to be the strongest. I also don't mind spending so much money on the military because we build it here. It's made in the USA, all made in the USA. We have, I rebuilt our military during my first term. Did a great job. We left some of it behind in Afghanistan, stupidly. There was no reason for that, but it was still as much as it was. It was billions and billions of dollars, but it was a small part of it. But we're going to have the strongest military by far. We have great people. I want to congratulate Pete Hegseth for having gone through the gauntlet. He went through a lot, but he got through, and he's going to be a tremendous, I have no doubt he's going to be a tremendous leader. And other of the leaders sitting here, they're in their own fields. We're going to do something very, very, very great, and we expect great things. But I expect the strongest military by far in the world, far stronger than China, far stronger than anybody, and that's the way it is. Thank you very much. Would you like to ask a question, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
This is Hiramoto from Nippon Television. My question, let me ask two quick questions.
Sure.
First, this is the first meeting between Mr. President and Prime Minister Ishiba. So what kind of impression do you have on him? And number two, do you have an idea or do you have a plan to impose tariff against Japan so far? Thank you.
I think that he is going to be a great prime minister. I think he's a very strong man, very, very strong. I have great respect for him. I've known him for a long time through a reputation. Shinzo Abe thought the world of him, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job as prime minister. A very strong person. I wish he wasn't so strong. I wish he was a little bit weaker than that, but that's what I got. I have to get strong guys all the time. He's going to be a great prime minister. I also, in terms of tariffs, I mean, we're going to have tariffs, mostly reciprocal tariffs, where we go with, and I'm going to be probably meeting on that Monday or Tuesday, have an announcement, probably a news conference, but probably reciprocal tariffs where a country pays so much or charges us so much, and we do the same. So very reciprocal, because I think that's the only fair way to do it. That way, nobody's hurt. They charge us, we charge them. It's the same thing. And I seem to be going in that line as opposed to a flat fee tariff. Okay? Yes, go, please. Please, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead?
じゃあ太田さん。
読売新聞の太田です。よろしくお願いいたします。石破首相にお伺いいたします。初めての首脳会談になりましたが、トランプ大統領の印象はいかがでしたでしょうか。信頼関係を構築することができたとお考えでしょうか。また、北東アジアでは対中国、対北朝鮮など様々な課題があります。冒頭でもご発言がありましたが、トランプ大統領には日米同盟強化に向けて何を特に強く訴えて、どのような理解を得られましたでしょうか。また、経済分野では、日本製鉄の US スチール回収計画や AI 産業などへの日本企業の投資や LNG 輸入拡大など様々なテーマがあると思いますが、トランプ大統領の間にはどのようなやり取りがありましたでしょうか。総理から説明された日本による1兆ドルの対米投資について、トランプ大統領の反応はいかがでしたでしょうか。また関税や防衛費増額についてのやり取りも教えてください。
はい、トランプ大統領とは初めてお目にかかりました。こうやって対面で、お話をするのは初めてでしたが、今まで何年もほとんど毎日テレビで見ておりましたので、テレビで見る人をこうやって間近に見ることの感動というのはまた格別なものがございます。テレビで見ると声高でかなり個性強烈で恐ろしい方だという印象がなかったわけではありませんが、実際にお目にかかると本当に誠実な、そして力強い、そして強い意志を持たれた合衆国と、そして世界に対する強い使命感を持たれた方だということを、お世辞全く抜きでそのように感じたところでございます。今後、日本とアメリカが力を合わせて、世界の平和のために、地域の安定のために、お互いが責任を果たしていきたいということで一致を見たところでございます。防衛費を増額するとか、そういうようなことは、アメリカに言われて日本がやることではございません。それは日本国が日本国のために、自らの責任において決断をすべきものでありますが、その時にアメリカとの意思疎通、同盟国でありますアメリカとの意思疎通というのは当然に必要なことでございます。これは日本が日本国の責任、そして決断において行うことだと承知をいたしております。また関税の問題につきましても、お互いにそれが 互いの利益となるような形で、それは設定されるべきものであります。日本国は日本国として、今、大統領閣下から紹介がありましたように、かつてない規模の投資を合衆国に行い、そして多くの雇用を創出するということで、1兆ドルというものを視野に、これから先、さらに拡大をさせていきます。それはアメリカの利益であると同時に、日本国の利益にもなると、そういうことでなければなりません。投資というのはそういうものでございます。ですから、US チールにいたしましても、今、大統領から言及がありましたように、買収ではない投資なのだと、そのことによって、さらに日本の技術も加えて、良い製品を作り出し、そしてそれが日本、アメリカ、そして世界に貢献できる US チールの製品が生み出されていることに、日本も投資を行うということで、どちらかが利益を得るというような一方的な関係にならない、そういうことを大統領との間で強く認識を共有したところであります。それが本日の大きな成果であったというふうに私は考えておるところでございます。
Thank you very much. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that U.S. deal. So you're saying that is this a restructuring of the deal that's happening, and then will you approve?
They're doing it as an investment, no longer a purchase.
Okay.
I didn't want it purchased, but investment I love. And they're going to do a big investment, subject to getting the deal done.
And that's
they'll be
something
doing
you
a
would
big.
approve, where the US,
I'm okay with that, sure.
And for the Prime Minister, what was your argument to the President related to U.S. deal? And one more on tariffs, Mr. President, if I could. You said on tariffs that you'd like them to be reciprocal, back and forth. What was the reception from the Japanese Prime Minister when you said that, or when you talked
Well,
about
we
it?
didn't discuss tariffs too much. We really discussed many other things, including the pipeline in Alaska, which I think is going to be maybe the most exciting thing with Doug and Chris. We discussed that at length, the pipeline. I mean, it seemed to be of great interest to them. It's, we have potentially more oil and gas than in Saudi Arabia, just in Alaska. We have the most of any country in the world. It's a big asset for the United States, but we haven't used it. We go to Venezuela, we go to other places to take oil and gas, and we have more than anybody. It's an amazing phenomenon that took place over the last 4 years. Nobody understands it, including the people that were in charge of it. They had no clue what they were doing. So it was a big problem. They were surprised, actually, too. They were saying, why didn't they wouldn't sell them LNG. They wouldn't sell it. Japan wanted to buy LNG, and Biden wouldn't sell it. And I'm trying to figure that one out. Maybe it was the environment. You might answer that question. He's curious about that himself, I think. Thank you very much. If you want to answer that, you may, about LNG, that the United States wouldn't sell you LNG.
我々として非常に残念なことではありましたが、前政権において、この許可というものがなされなかったということであります。トランプ大統領が就任当日だったと思いますが、このことについての明快な解決策を示していただいたということは、日本国にとって非常にありがたいことでございました。我が日本国といたしまして、LNG のみならず、バイオエタノールであり、あるいはアンモニアであり、そういうような資源というものを安定的にリーズナブルな価格で提供されるということは、日本国にとっての利益でもございます。そしてアメリカの貿易赤字、対日貿易赤字を減らすことにもつながるということでございます。私どもとして安定的にリーズナブルな価格でエネルギーが提供されているのは大きな国益でございますので、トランプ大統領の決断を非常に感謝をし、そしてまたこれから先 LNG の採掘というものが成功裏に進展することを期待をしているものでございます。
I want to just say that on the ethanol, Iowa is going to be very happy. All of the Nebraska, all of our farm states are going to be very happy. They want ethanol, and we'll be able to provide it. So our farmers, who I like and they like me, I think they're going to be very, very happy. We've opened the sale of LNG immediately. Actually, we did it a few days ago. And China, right now, not only China, everybody wants to buy it. We have more than anybody, and they're all buying it. But Japan in particular, we're very happy that they're going to start immediately. And we can supply it to the world, but we're supplying it to Japan, and they can always be right up in the front of the line. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Prime Minister, I have a question for you as well, but Mr. President, I'll start with you. Well, quickly to follow up on what Peter was asking, have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending in the federal budget?
Yes, I have Pentagon, education, just about everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through, and I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed. It was very, very unfortunate. You're not going to find anything like that, but you're going to find a lot, and I've instructed him to go check out education, to check out the Pentagon, which is the military, and, sadly, you'll find some things that are pretty bad, but I don't think proportionally you're going to see anything like we just saw.
FBI has turned over a list to the Justice Department of the FBI agents who worked on the January 6 rioters cases. Are you planning to fire the FBI agents who worked on those investigations?
No, but I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that. I got to know a lot about that business, that world. I got to know a lot about that world, and we had some corrupt agents, and those people are gone, or they will be gone, and it'll be done quickly and very surgically. Did you have a question for the Prime Minister?
Just to clarify, are those the ones who worked on the January 6th investigation?
Talk up.
Are those the ones who worked on the January 6th investigation?
I don't know. I don't know. I know we have some that are very corrupt and we don't like it. We're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI. Kash Patel is going to do a great job. And we're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI, which has been hurt very badly. It's been devastated over the last 4 years.
You have just been meeting for the first time with President Trump. The last administration famously did not have hardly any, if at all, contact with North Korea. President Trump certainly did the last time he was in office. Would you like to see him resume that contact and also that in-person meeting that he had with the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un?
それは合衆国大統領がご判断になることであって、我々が合衆国大統領の決断にあれこれ申し上げることではございません。しかしながら、かつてベトナムにおいて、あるいはシンガポールにおいて、合衆国大統領が、トランプ大統領が、金正恩委員長と会談をされたということで、事態はかなり動いたと思っております。その進展はございませんけれども、またトランプ大統領が就任されたことによって、この北朝鮮の問題がさらに解決に向かう、そのためには非核化ということが大前提であります。我が日本国にとっては拉致問題の解決ということでございます。国連安保理決議に合致した形で北朝鮮が行動すること、そしてまた拉致問題、被害者もそうですが、ましてや家族はもっと高齢化をしておるのでありまして、時間的にあまり余裕はございません。合衆国大統領のトランプ大統領閣下のさらなるお力というものを私どもとしては、この問題が日本の問題であるということをよく認識をしながら、合衆国大統領の行動に期待をするところは大きいところがございます。
It's actually a good question, and we will have relations with North Korea and with Kim Jong-un. I got along with him very well, as you know. I think I stopped the war. I think if I wouldn't have won that particular election, you would have ended up in a very bad situation. But I did, and we had a good relationship, and I think it's a very big asset for everybody that I do get along with him. I get along with him, he gets along with me, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I can tell you that Japan likes the idea because their relationship is not very good with him. And if I can have a relationship with not only him, but other people throughout the world where there seem to be difficulties, I think that's a tremendous asset for the world, not just the United States. Go ahead.
I have a question for you and for the Prime Minister as well. Mr. President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. And is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions, and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in, so I've instructed him go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target, and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something. And I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
As you know, the bulk of federal spending is Social Security, Medicare, programs like that. Would you like to see him look at those programs as well?
Well, they don't really have to be looked at by him. They can be looked at by us. Social Security will not be touched. It'll only be strengthened. We have illegal immigrants on Social Security, and we're going to find out who they are and take them out. We have illegal immigrants in other Medicare. We found a lot of bad people, a lot of people that shouldn't be on, that were put on through California. A lot of them come out of California. We're not going to stand for that. So we're going to strengthen our Social Security, et cetera. We're not going to touch it other than to make it stronger. But we have people that shouldn't be on, and those people we have to weed out. Most of them, or many of them so far, have been illegal immigrants. They shouldn't even be in the country. Do you have a question for the Prime Minister?
I do. Mr. Prime Minister, the President's affinity for tariffs is well known. If the U.S. places tariffs on Japanese imports, would Japan retaliate?
家庭のご質問にはお答えをいたしかねますというのが日本の大体定番の国会答弁でございます。
That's a very good answer. Very good answer. Wow. That's very good. He knows what he's doing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.